I saw a hands-off presentation of Assassin's Creed Shadows at Summer Games Fest and Ubisoft Forward. One of the big themes for Shadows is dynamic gameplay from the options between Noae and Yasuke in terms of their gameplay systems, as well as the new dynamic lighting system. I came away from the presentation quite impressed, but still with several questions left on the table. Let's go! Let me know any questions you have in the comments down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I will be flying back to Australia very soon, and I apologize for my voice. It is completely gone. We're going to soldier through. So,
a samurai. One that does not hail from these lands.
I am a stranger, yes, but you have nothing to fear from me.
what we got to see during our hands-off live demonstration of the game went for about an hour, and mostly showcasing different elements of Yasuke and Noae's kits and how they are vastly different from each other, as well as how the different weather conditions and some of the lighting can interact with the overall gameplay scenarios that you're going to play itself. At the start of these main missions, you'll get to pick between Yasuke and Noae, which character you actually want to play as throughout that mission, and it will vastly impact how you tackle those actual missions or take out your various targets. They do have a very different playstyle, especially in terms of the overall brutality, I suppose, of Yasuke compared to Noae. So starting with Yasuke, you're obviously much larger, right? You're a massive giant. You've got a much more slow and sort of not methodical, but more intentional movement style. Like the animation design here between the two characters is very different. You're really enormous and can charge through doors and enemies, and you won't really be able to perform any of the same stealth or especially parkour elements as Noae, being because of your overall size and stature. That is also reflective in combat, not only in terms of the weapons that are available to Yasuke, as he does have a lot more weapon variety in terms of using massive hammers and larger weapons that he'll be able to use, and a ranged gun that he can use as well. But he has a dodge that's a bit more of a short sort of step back, like more of a side step than like an actual dodge, and you'll be a bit more aggressive in combat, leveraging the parry mechanic and trying to break enemies' armor, which is the yellow bar that you will see. Once that armor is broken, they'll obviously take more damage. You'll be able to defeat them a little bit easier, and then you've also got the unique skills that are unique to Yasuke as well as Noae, who will also have her own unique skills. But the gameplay with Yasuke is more of a samurai focus, using like the posture, like stance system, trying to parry attacks and break their armor and then follow up with those attacks. Like something that was immediately noticeable to me was just how clean a lot of these animations in combat are. Like the way that the swords flow and sort of the stances that both the enemies and Yasuke and Noae as well are actually using. I really quite enjoyed that sort of animation leap compared to, say, a previous gen like a Mirage or a Valhalla, etc. There's definitely a lot more authenticity to their movement, especially in terms of, say, a samurai moving like a samurai. You can really see that sort of coming through with Yasuke himself.
It's almost dark. No one will see me coming.
Noae, on the other hand, is almost the complete opposite in a lot of ways, right? You won't be charging through, doors or charging through enemies. If there is a locked door or a way you can't get through, you're going to have to go around, like climb the rooftops or sort of sneak your way into systems, using prone as well. We did get to see a lot of that, as well as using a prone mechanic to be able to actually, lay down to avoid enemies, and the way that will change some of the level design. I'm very interested to see if there'll be a lot of scenarios where you can sort of sneak in loosely. Now, Noae does have an eagle vision, which you will be able to then see enemies through walls, so you can sort of spot them, see exactly where they are, plus a grappling hook that she can use to climb to be able to make parkour a little bit easier in some way, retrospect, so you don't necessarily have to climb up every tile to reach a roof. You can sort of zoom your way up there a little bit quicker, which I quite liked, as just speeds up that parkour process that tiny little bit. And that's all the stuff about animations with Yasuke. It's all relevant to Noae as well, but they are vastly different animations, not only in terms of the weapons that they are using, as Noae has a completely different weapon set that you'll be able to use, but she has a bit more of a longer dodge. Say if you are going to dodge, you sort of roll out of the way, you sort of jump, compared to Yasuke's sidestep. And you can parry as Noae, but it's not sort of the main focus, but she's much more agile in terms of her overall kit and the weapons that she has available to her. Now, Noae does have a one-hit assassination. Now, she can't one-hit assassinate every enemy. There will be certain elites or, say, samurais that are trained in ways that prevent prevent her from being able to one-shot them because of, their abilities, right? But it will be noticeable that you'll be able to one-shot a lot of enemies from a stealth scenario and sort of play in that aspect. But we also saw a lot of just straight up combat with Noae, right? Like using her weapon kits, especially, I can't remember the name of it, but the chained weapon that has a massive AoE on it that's very cool and looks very fun to use. So you can just play a straight up combat scenario with Noae. You don't have to go into stealth, but you've also got that one-hit assassination, which gives her a little bit more viability or flexibility compared to Yasuke, who has a very strict sort of moveset and role. Like, he can't play in that sort of same stealth way that Noae can. Doesn't have a one-hit assassination. It does have like that ranged gun that he can use that can one-hit if you headshot enemies, so at least you've got sort of a one-hit option there in terms of certain enemy varieties, but it's a little different in terms of their playstyle, and I think Noae's flexibility will often lean people to prefer to play as Noae unless they like to play as, the big brooding tank with the massive weapons. Then definitely Yasuke will be the option there. With both of these characters and the combat in general, what really has me excited is the way that it will play with replayability throughout the game, right? Like, not only between, say, playing the game all the way through or through certain missions as one character compared to playing it as a different character, and how you can change up your gameplay from just being a strict brute with a Yasuke and like charging through the center of the camp or sneaking around on the rooftops with Noae, but also how the dynamic weather and time of day impacts that. At night, stealth is much more prevalent. You also got now the ability to take out lanterns and lights that can help you with stealth in those scenarios, and you can see a little bar there on the screen that tells you how visible you are to certain enemies, and then if you take out those lights and that sort of thing, it does make it a lot easier to sneak around in those encounters and sort of lose enemies. But if you are going to take out those enemies in combat and assassinate them, and there will be those civilians in these camps as well that you can knock out rather than actually killing to save their life. Now, the diversity in the gameplay between Yasuke and Noae is one of the most exciting things to me, and how they have their different skills and play styles, and understanding how that's going to actually play when we are playing the game, and choosing between the different characters is something that I'm really keen for. And I'm not even sure who I'm actually going to play as primarily. If you know who you're going to play as primarily, let me know in the comments down below. But one thing I would have loved to see more of is some of that dynamic weather system. We did get to see a stormy day and how that does impact the sound and the enemy's abilities to find you when playing as Noae in stealth, but we are aware that there is different weather systems or even different seasons and how that can impact the gameplay, and we didn't see a whole heap of that. We were provided some B-roll that does showcase what the different seasons will look like, but we didn't actually get to see it in live gameplay and how that does impact not only the current mission you're on, but also like the replayability, right? Like, if you are doing a mission one time in winter, or maybe you're doing another time in summer, can you even do that? Would really like to understand a little bit more of that system as well. AC Shadows being the first like current gen only Assassin's Creed game, visually was maybe a tiny bit disappointing. The game is still very beautiful, right? Like, just due to its setting, especially its art direction is very strong here, but I was expecting maybe a bit more of a graphical leap than we did get to see, and maybe in terms of crowd density as well, and their activity to the player, as we're still a few months away from Shadow's release on November 15th. Hopefully we'll see a bit more improvements to those as we get a little bit closer to launch and a bit more depth to those systems. But overall though, I love what Ubisoft is doing here with the dual protagonists, not only just being dual protagonists that are, say, twins that play very similarly, being completely different characters here in terms of their gameplay, their history, where they've come from. The way that the weather and the time of day and the character you choose to play as will give you plenty of player agency throughout your journey, as well as replayability in terms of who you want to play as well as personal expression in terms of the gameplay. I'm really enjoying the option of that, and I hope that we get to see more of that, and I can't wait to actually play it for myself. But let me know any thoughts you have about AC Shadows in the comments down below. I will have much more content coming out for Shadows as we get closer to the launch, as well as once I'm back in Australia, I'll have a bit more of a recap happening and some more content coming your way very soon. But thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Noae, and I hope you have a great day.